Welcome back guys, this is Shrikant. This is day 15 of our series Learn SQL with Shrikant. Today we are going to talk about cascading rules in SQL. Let's start. So what are cascading rules? A mechanism that maintain referential integrity in a relational database, right? We'll talk about the referential integrity in next slide. So whenever we perform delete update on a parent table, how it will react on the child table, that is how we need to understand, that is what kind of rules are called, and that rules basically we talk as cascading rules. So what is referential integrity? It ensures that the relationship between the two tables remain consistent, obviously. For example, that's the reason we create the foreign key enforces, right? That's the reason we create foreign key, and which enforces the relationship between the two tables. And what is the importance? It prevent the orphan record and maintain the data consistency, obviously. What is orphan then? Orphan means the child data is present, but the parent entry, whatever it is mapped, that is not available. So record without parent, a child record without parent, that is what we call as a orphan record. So let's start to the next slide. So here we are going to talk about the cascading action. So cascading action will only be available only two things. The first thing basically on delete and on update. Whenever we perform any kind of delete operation on the parent table, or whenever we perform any kind of update operation on a parent table, how the child table will react, how the child reference will be updated, deleted, and how it will react, that thing basically come into the cascading action. If you didn't understand anything, don't worry. The only thing you need to understand, the cascading rule will only come into the picture when we talk about the foreign key. Whenever we create the foreign key, we need to think about how the child react on delete with the deletion of the record from the primary table, or how it will react on a update while we will update data from the parent table. And there are basically four kind of rule: cascade, then set null, then set default, and no action. So cascade means if you remove something from the parent, all the references from the child will be removed. If you set null, it means that if you remove something from the parent, or the null value will be placed, the record won't be deleted. If you set default, then if you remove something from the parent, what will happen? The default value will be placed there. Then no action means nothing will happen. You can't remove any parent record until you remove the all the entries from the child record. So let's go back to the practical demonstration. So to start with this demonstration, what I am going to do, I just created one demo database called as a demo UAUG09. There basically we are going to create a table called as a customer, and it will be having a customer ID that will be primary key, and the another column called as a name. I already created this table, so I'm just making sure the table is being dropped. Okay, perfect. Table is already being dropped. Perfect. Now just create this table. Perfect. As this is reference, so just let me remove all the references first. Let me start from, okay. Now just create the table called as a customer. Okay. Then we are going to load the data, load it. Then we are going to create a table called as the orders, and here basically we are having a two column. One is called as the order ID, another is called as the customer ID. There we are making a relationship with the customer table. So customer ID column from this table is making relationship with a customer table with the customer ID column. Okay, now let's create the table. The moment we'll create the table, we'll also load the data into the table, and we'll just verify the data. Okay, both the table are having the data, right? This is simple. You can just watch the video, and just I will post this script in a description. Also I will provide the script file, so you can just download and you can get these things so far. Okay, now what I'm going to do, see, this is the normal table. I just created one relationship with the table, and that's all. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to update. Let me update something. See, I got an error that the reference is there, and that's the reason we can't do that. And let me try with the delete also will not work. That is also showing me this error. Why this is happening? Because this is happening just because of the cascading rule. The default cascading rule is the cascade. That's the reason it's happening. Okay, now we are going to talk about those four rules, and I'm going to show you practically. Let's start. So the first thing we are going to talk about is basically the set null. So how to define? Just we need to write on delete, or you need to define the action. So let's say I want on delete, I want to make it as a set null, right? Now just create it. First let's create a fresh system. So just drop the this reference, then we can just drop this table. Okay, so just drop the table, then we can drop and recreate the table once again, then recreate the table and load the data once again. Perfect. Now just to make sure the data is available here. Perfect. Now here now just verify one thing. On delete, I said basically on delete, but when I execute update, what will happen? I'll still get the error, right? Let me run on delete. What will happen? So when I perform the delete, now just focus on. Now see, the record 1 has been removed, and the same reference whatever was there in the child table, that was updated with a null. This is how we need to deal with the cascading rule. Now we only set it for delete, right? So delete will work, but when I run the with update, now there is, the okay, update won't work, right? Because that data is not there. Perfect. Now what we are going to do, we are going to add it for update also. On update it should work, right? On update set null. Let's create the system once again. Just drop the child table first, then create the, sorry, then just drop the child table, then drop and recreate the primary table, then create this table once again, load the data, make sure the data is available. Okay, system is now back. Now what we are going to do, we are basically uh, going to perform, update. Previously we were facing issue, right? So just run this. Now see, we got updated, the record got updated, and it got updated successfully without error. Now let's run this query and understand. Now if you remember one thing, previously the id was 2 1 actually, now it is 3, right? Now that id basically has been changed to null. This is how set null cascading will work, right? Perfect. Now I'll just make it as a first thing. Set null is over. Next we will talk about set default. Okay, now first drop this data, create the data. Whenever we talk about the default, so default value should be given. So I'm just giving the default value as a 1. So default constant, you need to write it here. Then just create the table. If it is not created, okay, table is created. Now create the child table, that is also created. Now see, we on delete set null we have defined, right? So we need to change it back to the set default, just as default. Instead of null it should be default. Okay, now once again recreate the system. Note one thing, we are only changing everything on a child table. Okay, now just to make sure the data is present in both the table, yes, data is present. Now what will happen? Now what I'm going to do, I am going to delete a customer where name is Shrikant, right? So which one? This one. Now let's see what will happen. See, we set it as a set default, so it just showing me some kind of error. Why that error? Basically the error is basically because I said the default value is 1, but actually I am just deleting the 1. So what will I do actually here? Instead of Shrikant, I am going to use another customer. So let's say Prashant. So because one should be present, so in most of the system sometimes they always keep the default row. So let's run it. Now see, it got successfully deleted, it got fixed. So what the output is now? Now I can see output as a 1 here, instead of, see, previously here it was 2 customer, now it is 1. Why? Because we set the default value here. So this is how set default will work, right? Then the next is basically no action. Correct? No action is the next one. How we will do that? Just drop the child table, then recreate the primary table once again, then create the child table, then insert data, make sure the data is available. Yes. Now see here what we have decided, no action as a cascading rule. Now what will happen? That is a default one. If you run this, you won't able to do that. Why? because it is reference. So no action means you can't remove the child record unless it is deleted from the parent, right? That's the reason it's a no action. Then the last one we are going to talk about is a cascading. So cascade is one of the cascading rule that we are going to talk. What will happen whenever you do some delete or update from the parent table, automatically all the rows from the child will be deleted. I am going to show you with practical demonstration. So first let's create the system, drop the table, recreate this table, then create the child table, right? Just insert the data, make sure the data is present, just run it. Okay, data is present. Now I defined the cascading rule as a cascade. Now what will happen? Now I'm going to delete this customer called as a Prashant, right? Now to demonstrate this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you with an up before and after thing. So before what was there, and then update, then delete what will be there, and right, this is how we will see. Now see here, previously data was 1 and 2 Shrikant. With this query, in the customer table, in the order table, we do have this record, right? Then we perform this delete on the customer table, that's our parent table. What happened, we basically have now only a single customer. If you see here, single customer, and previously we were having two orders, now we just have a single orders. Understood? So with cascade, what will happen, if you delete something from the parent, it will automatically delete all the references from the child. So it depends actually which cascading rule you want to use, but this is how the cascading rule will be work. And cascading rule will only be come into the picture whenever we will do with the delete and update, and that is also with the foreign key, right? Hope you guys understood and enjoyed our video. I know this video is basically a bit complicated, but don't worry, just watch my video 3-4 times. For this demonstration you will understand how to use a cascading rule, but I would suggest this is very a fundamental thing which you need to understand as a database developer, and that will really help you. Hope you enjoyed our video, and thanks for watching this video. If you really like our video, please comment over the comment section. That will help us to motivate and let us know that you guys are enjoying and watching. And really thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.